Hey there, it's Coach G. Today is a mobility workout. You've been working really hard. Those who are on my 14-day program are, feeling muscles they haven't felt in a while, and maybe having some, soreness or, discomfort in certain places. So, a combination of flexibility, stretching, and mobility work is going to help release the lactic acid that was built up through all the work that you did. So there's a difference between mobility and flexibility. Mobility is your active range of motion. So that's how, if I lift my arm, how high can I get that? That's my range of motion. How far can my arms go? Can I get it all the way around? Whereas stretching, yoga, flexibility, those words are all kind of used interchangeably, is a passive range of motion. So if I'm pulling my arm across my chest, I am now pulling my shoulder into internal rotation. So this would be considered mobility, and this would be considered flexibility, stretching, yoga. So today we're going to do a balance of both. We're going to be working on increasing the range of motion of our joints, but we're also going to be stretching out those tired, sore muscles. I encourage you to do mobility and stretching about 3 times a week. If you can get it in every day, that's fantastic. I'll tell you that I had lower back pain for years that I couldn't figure out how to get control of it. And what I learned is between increasing my core strength and doing my stretching, that pain just kind of vanished, and I don't have lower back pain anymore. So if you're ready, we're going to get down to the mat. That's all you need today. You may want a blanket or a yoga block, but other than that, it's just you and me and the mat and a little bit of time just for ourselves. So let's get started. Thanks for meeting me here on the mat. I brought a blanket with me because I want to show you a modification for our breath work. We're going to start with a little bit of breath work, and that's really important for us. Being connected to our breath when we're exercising, and even when we're not, is really important for women our age. Our breath controls our stress. And when our stress is lower, our cortisol is lower. And cortisol is a big ugly word. We all fight it as we're working through perimenopause and menopause. And cortisol is that hormone that just won't let the fat go. So focusing on our breath work, being intentional in our breathing is going to help with that. So if you cannot get your butt to your heels in a kneeling position, take a yoga block, take a blanket, and just put it on your heels, and then rest. So you can see I'm a bit elevated. I've got my sit bones are even. You want to be completely centered. I had a client say to me once, we're just going to pull the fluff out. So we're just going to pull the fluff out, and we're going to settle. Now I just want you to listen to my voice, close your eyes. You can have your hands at your side, you can have them on your thighs, or you can have them open and just ready to receive the possibilities. So we're going to take 5 breaths here. We're going to do an elevator breath. What an elevator breath is you're going to fill your body with air starting in your lower abs, and you're all the way to the top. Ready? So we're going to do that and hold at the top. And here we go. In for 5. Hold at the top. Exhale for 5. Big breath like you're blowing through a straw. Inhale. Hold at the top. Exhale. Take some time to learn this. Be intentional. Ready? Hold at the top. Let go of any tension that you're holding in your neck and shoulders. Inhale. Hold at the top. Exhale. Really empty that belly. One more time. Big inhale. Hold at the top. Now this time I want you to blow through a straw, empty everything. Now hold at the bottom. And bring your breathing back to normal. I like to do that in the morning. It helps me to set my intention. Usually before I start my work day, it's something I can do at my desk. And I do it when I'm brushing my teeth at night. I brush my teeth and I just look in the mirror, close my eyes, and I just stand in my power and I breathe. You're gonna find that that's gonna make a big difference in how quickly you fall asleep and the quality of your sleep overall. So now let's move into a child's pose. So I'm gonna get rid of this blanket. Again, if you ever need the blanket or the block, feel free to use it. I'm gonna turn to the side here. So my feet are gonna stay together. My knees are gonna go about mat width apart, and I'm gonna push those heels down, or my butt down to those heels. Now I'm gonna walk my hands out. And I'm just gonna walk out as far as I can. And now I'm gonna drop my chest to the ground. You're gonna feel a nice big opening. I'm continuing to push my butt towards my heels. So we're for 5, we're gonna release and drop. And release and drop. 3, drop. 4, drop. 5, drop. Now we're going to take our hands. How far you move to the side is totally up to you, but we're going to get a nice big side stretch here for 5. Mobility is dynamic, and what that means is that there's movement within movement here. When we're focusing on our flexibility and lengthening those muscles, we'll hold these positions for longer periods of time. But this is a hybrid session. So you're going to feel that stretch. But I really want to be focusing on the range of motion of our joints. When you're done, come back to center. Just drop here, a couple of breaths. Big inhale, big belly breath. One more. Now I want you to walk your hands back up and come back up to sitting. We're going to move into a tabletop position now. So I'm going to bring my knees a little bit closer together. My hands are going to go out in front. I'm going to make sure my shoulders are stacked over my wrists. And I'm going to do some cat-cow. If you have any issues with bone density or osteoporosis, I don't want you to do this movement. I would rather that you maybe created a little movement within movement. You can do a bit of a body roll, but I don't want you pushing your bones in the flexion and extension in your spine. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop our belly, push our butt up. This is our inhale, this is our cow, and cat. And cow, and cat. 3, 2, and 1. From here, we're going to stay in this tabletop position and we're going to rotate our spine. So now I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to put it just up by my ear. I'm going to tap and open for 5. You're ultimately trying to get that elbow to point towards the ceiling. But it really is where your body's at as to how far that goes. And maybe it's only, 45 degrees today, 90 degrees. That's okay. Just keep working on it. So we're going to switch to the other side. I've moved. You don't have to. Hand up. And you may find that there's a difference side to side. My left side is my tighter side. I don't have that range of motion that I would like to have, that I have on my right side. And one of the ways to fix that is actually do more reps on the side that needs more loosening up. Today we're doing a set number of exercises. Pause the video, do a few more reps. Do it more often through the week. You'll find you'll get there. So now we're going to move into a hip flexor series. Here's where you're going to want maybe a mat, maybe one of those gardening kneeling boards, something just to kind of take, you can roll your mat up if that works for you, but just something to take some pressure off your knee. So I'm just going to put the blanket out. I don't need a lot of cushion. But I'm just not pushing right into the floor. I'm going to bring this knee up so you can see I'm at a 90 here and I'm at a 90. Now, I want you to think about what we're working here. We're working our hip flexors. When we sit, those hip flexors are tightening, they're shortening, they're almost brittle. I know sometimes you hear that snap and crackle and pop and it's like, okay, we gotta loosen these things up. So we wanna kind of just mold them and get them more malleable and moving. So what I want you to think is that now your hips are on a conveyor belt and we're just gonna go forward and back for a 5. This is a whole series where we go through a number of different movements. So we're going to stay on this side. Now we reset, shoulders are back and down. Now we're going to raise our hands up over our head. We're not going into a crescent. I don't want you to arch your back. We've still got this nice posture where our pelvis is tucked in, our hips are tucked under, and we're really just focusing on this hip. And as we move forward, we're coming up and back. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now while we're in this position, we're going to reach overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the last one in this series, we're now going to reach across our body. So we're going to bring a bit of a spinal twist into this. So we're going across. Again, how much twist you get doesn't matter as long as you really feel that rotation in that mid-back. But think about reaching for that side wall. And rest. Come back down. If you need to reset, I'm going to just move my blanket. Make sure you've got the cushioning so that you feel, settled and comfortable. And we're going to bring this other leg forward. Make sure you're nice and tall, you're settled. If you're finding you're having balance issues, you can even take your leg out to the side a little bit. And sometimes you may need to do that side to side. Again, everybody's different. Every body is different. Ready? Start on that conveyor. Sliding forward, sliding back. I'm not going up, I'm not going down, I'm just moving forward and back. 2 more here. Now we're going to move into that overhead reach. Ready? Here we go. Make sure your shoulders are not creeping up by your ears as we're doing this. Everything is relaxed. Raising our arms just intensifies that stretch on our hip flexor. Now we're going up and over into an overhead stretch. So over, reset, over, reset. It's dynamic, but it's not a race. And one more. I may have lost count. And our final one, our cross arm reach. So reach, reach. reach, cross, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. All right, let's reset here. We're going to move into a figure 4. If I hesitated, it's because I just changed it. Coach's prerogative. I want you to lay on your back. And let's do some hip cars to start. So let's lay flat. Again, arms can be out at your side for balance. Roll those shoulders back and down, have them connected to the mat. Your lower back is connected to the mat. And I want you to pull your knee in, drop it to the side, and extend. We're going to do 5 circles here. In. Now bring it the other way. This is a great exercise for putting our hip through its full range of motion. Remember that a hip is a ball and socket joint. And down. So it's moving like this, right? So in this particular exercise, we're really putting it through its paces. So just take a second to reset, make sure that your lower back is still pushed in, shoulders are connected to the mat, and let's do the other side. Drop, extend. In, drop, extend. Reset, make sure everything's connected. Let's go the other way. Nice work. Bring your feet together, roll to your side, coming back up. Slowly, one leg at a time. We're going to finish with a couple of standing moves. These are a little bit more on the flexibility stretching side. Everything's nice and warm, our muscles are all nice and warm, our joints are all loosened up. This is a great time to kind of lengthen those muscles, keep them nice and supple. So we're going to move into a standing ragdoll. So I want your feet, hip, shoulder width apart, facing forward, soft knees. Don't lock your knees out. We're going to take a big breath in here together, and we're going to drop. And you're going to drop as far as you can. Maybe you're only here, and that's okay. Maybe you're here. For me, it depends on the day. Relax those shoulders and just hang out here. It's not how far you get to touching the ground. It's how close you get your chest to your knees, and you're going to feel this release through your hamstrings. Just let your head drop. This is called gravity-assisted stretching. So your upper body is, the weight of your upper body is helping pull those hamstring muscles. And you find that as you breathe and just hang out here, that your hands drop. You can feel those muscles releasing. One more breath here. Now, instead of just standing up, I want you to take your fingers and I want you to drag them. Drag them along your toes, along your shins, knees, thighs, up to your hips, and your head comes up last. That's how we want to stand when we're cut down in a position like that. We don't want to just flip our back up because that puts a lot of pressure on our lumbar or lower spine, and that's where you're going to get injured. So I've over-exaggerated that, but if you think about slowly, that slow motion and just rolling that spine up, you're going to protect your spine and you're not going to be dizzy. because you got up too fast. We're going to finish in mountain pose, which is a yoga pose, and I want to talk to you about standing in your power. So this is something I just read about last week. I loved it, so we're going to do it together. We may not do the full 2 minutes today, we'll just see how it goes, but apparently there was a study done in Harvard in, I think it was 2018, and they were talking about how there are biochemical reactions that happen in our brain. And rewiring our brain and all kinds of things like that. So what they did is they had people stand in a power pose for 2 minutes. Now, why this is important is what happened through this study. What they learned is that standing in your power pose for 2 minutes increases testosterone levels and decreases cortisol levels. So that's really important for women our age. And I just thought it was wonderful. I do this when I'm kind of feeling that 3 o'clock drowsy and stuff like this. I find I get a little more energy. I find that I feel ready to focus and concentrate again. So I want you to stand in your power. Hip width apart. Knees are soft, hips stacked, shoulders back and down. How you want to stand in your power is up to you. You can put your hands on your hips, or you can be open to whatever the universe is bringing you. That's totally up to you. I'm going to focus on my breathing. I'm going to be very intentional. We're going to be quiet. I'm going to try and think about what 2 minutes feels like. So just be with me and let's stand in our power. Probably about a minute. I was focusing on my elevator breathing, so I was coming up for 5, holding for a count of 2, and releasing. I don't know about you, I feel more balanced. I feel ready to take on the day. Great work today. Mobility is such an important part of our fitness that we tend to just brush off to the side because we want to get to that next workout. So well done. Congratulate yourself, and I will see you at the next workout.